go. What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good, man. We're concluding down this path as the Senior Bowl is taking off today. We're talking players to watch on the wide receivers. And I'm okay, the wide receiver class this season has a good heaping at the top, and then it does drop off quite a bit. So trying to find these late round gems is going to be something of a problem, but I think there are still some good talented players, especially in the Senior Bowl. We're definitely going to be talking about some of them. I got 5 on my board, and we're talking the American side of things. We're talking Arian Smith and a Chimray DK, Georgia and Florida products respectively. And these two out of this group, I do like quite a bit. I think that there is some potential in both a Smith and a DK to at least make some noise as we get closer to the NFL draft. Let's talk a little Arian Smith, Georgia Bulldog product, 5'11", 175. Took him a little while before he got some, more snaps starting role, and this year was definitely the season. Like I said, 5'11", 175. He played in 47 contests, 68 receptions, 1356 in yards, a nice 19.9 on the average, and there's a reason for that because of that great speed potential. Maybe I'm going to be watching him very close at the combine if he can crack that 4.3 40 speed, 10 touchdowns on his resume as well. What I do like about his game, you guys know this, any running back or wide receiver that's extremely fluid, I'm in, man, and we got to at least dissect what they do after that. But part of the process is how are you as a fluid runner? He's very smooth. Hips are very smooth. In and out of his breaks, extremely positive speaking for a Smith, and I do like it quite a bit. Route tree is good, but it's improving. Again, not near enough reps for him. Even though he did play in 47 contests, he wasn't necessarily given a heaping of the target share, and definitely you can tell in his game overall, but the route tree is good enough, and it definitely is on the rise, doing very well so far in the 1v1s here at the Senior Bowl. He has played extremely well in that respect. Good press break, man. I do like it on the strength. He can absolutely get past a lot of these guys. We see some arm swims, we see some push-offs, the arm slap downs, and he is able to get around his would-be defender with relative ease. It's not necessarily polished by any stretch of the imagination, but it is here. You have seen stretches where he can break on the press and do make some plays in the open field with his route tree. Hands are soft. He does extend when he does make the catch. Let's just caveat that way because he does have something of a dropping problem. However, you want to know, could he maybe fix it with a lot more reps? Potentially. This is one of the biggest problems that we do have, even though when he does catch a ball, extending extremely long arms to get the football when it is in front of him, he's had many drops, and they're not just concentration drops, they're really bad drops. So if he can fix his dropping problem, I think that's going to knock him down the draft process for sure. But if he can fix these drops, I think he'll definitely get on some club and at least help out a team as a secondary wide receiver in that role. Body balance just average. You see him tripping over himself quite a bit in the open field on the yak after he does make the catch. You want to see that cleaned up as well, but I think that's a coachable trait. He's just trying too hard to get those jets moving and try to get down the field. His route tree, it has tells. When you see when he wants to take off, he kind of dips his whole head down, and he's trying to go a straight line seam, or he's going, a straight 9. But I'm telling you, when he does the slant routes, the drag routes, the ins and the outs, he doesn't do that. So you definitely got to get rid of your tells on your route tree. Otherwise, you're going to not do very well and succeed in the NFL. But overall, I do like the potential of an Arian Smith. I think that there is something here, especially if he gets on a team that can utilize him as a secondary player. Chimray, DK, Wisconsin, and Florida product. Next one up on my board, 6', 192. Good size, man. What else can you say? You're looking for a wide receiver who's put together in a certain stature. He is definitely one of these guys. Is he going to wow you on the tape? Not really. He's almost like that possessional wide receiver that you're looking for. Crack the third downs, get you a good, 7 out to the sideline. He can do that mid-range, 20 yards down the field, make some catches. He is good that way. Acceleration and speed, it's good enough, man. I got nothing else to say about it. Negatively, it's definitely good enough in this respect that he can at least evade his defensive back and get in the open field. Even if the coverage is tight on him, he's got good hands to get up and get after that ball. Separation, though, is very nice. We have seen it quite a bit. And whether it's a, off-the-line burst that he does possess as well to help aid in that separation, we've seen it down the field as well where he is able to at least evade the defensive backs and get open. The separation is key, especially if you're not a field burner on the field and you don't have necessarily the polished route tree you're looking for. He does definitely separate in the open field. Find ways to get open. That's the name of the game, name of the business. And I'm telling y'all, man, with the separation, he does find ways to get open, whether he is going over the middle, whether he's going on the slant routes, he does find ways, and it is a very impressive, part of his resume, you want to say. Hands are above average for me. I think I don't got any complaints on the hands. You didn't see many drops from the man, even though he did play 57 games, man, 139 receptions, 22-61 in yards, 16.3 on the average, and 11 TDs. So there is potential for him to be a red zone threat as well. There is potential, like I said, for him to be the, possessional type of wide receiver. When you need a play made, you go to DK, and he can hopefully make the play happen for you as well. And he's got decent yak upside. It's not, again, this is not one of these wide receivers that's going to blow you away on the film, but at least he does have some upside. Again, a lot of secondary pieces at the wide receiver spot here at the Senior Bowl, and I think that's kind of what we're dealing with for a majority of these guys. We're talking about the national team. We got Tez Johnson, Xaiver Restrepo, Oregon, Miami, and then a Jaden Higgins, Iowa State. So these three for me out of this bunch is kind of where I'm going to look, because I did look at all these guys, and these look to me like the better potential wide receivers as we sit today. Some of these gentlemen could actually get their stock up. But let's talk a little Tez Johnson, Troy product, Oregon Ducks. Okay, and the biggest problem, we'll start there right off the bat, is 5'9", 156. I mean, soaking wet. He is definitely undersized height and weight. He's got a little bit of that Tank Dell size and playmaking style in his game, without question. Could be a little bit faster than a Tank Dell, without question. 62 games played, man. He made a career out of college football. 310 receptions, almost 4,000 receiving yards, 33,889, 12.5 on the average, and then 28 touchdown receptions in those 62 games. So you can see Tez is a playmaker. He can make things happen in the open field. The best part of his game, his speed is explosive, man. He was doing a number on these defensive backs here at the Senior Bowl, calling them basically unguardable. But I mean, it is what it is. He does hit the stop-start speed is great. It's exceptional when it comes to the speed and explosive nature of his game. And this is what aids him in making those great route cuts, the cut steps, the agility movements, agile movements. He does this so well. It's very reminiscent of somebody like a Tank Dell. Hopefully he's got a better injury history than a Tank Dell. That's what we're hoping for, because Tank, obviously we know, has spent a lot of time in that medical room. Route breaks, absolutely fantastic. Comes with the cut steps. He's able to get open. And then when he does break into the open field, you're going to see him make and create plays. He cuts like a running back in the open field when the ball's in his hand. Yak yardage is definitely here. You just got to get the football in his hands, and he will make some things happen. But when you're at 156 pounds, man, oh man, that does scare me quite a bit for potential injuries as he does get into the NFL playing against grown-ass men that are going to light him up if he's going over the middle. So definitely got to put some weight on for sure. Body balance, very good. You're going to see this when he's making his cuts in the open field, making people miss. Body balance is just there, man. He's so good at the cutting, and this is a very good thing for Tez Johnson. He can be that gadget, schemed-up player on the jet sweeps, however they want to utilize him in situational football. Tez would definitely help out a team in that regard, and hands are good, man. I can't complain about it whatsoever. I think that his hands are definitely, I don't want to say pluses, but they're definitely good enough for me. He's made some pretty good highlight reel catches to at least make the argument that his hands are very safe. Next one is Xaiver Restrepo, Miami product. Another one that's undersized on the height, but definitely built in the body frame. 5'9", 200 pounds. Restrepo played 51 games, 200 receptions, 28.44 in yards, 14.2 on the average, and 21 touchdowns with the Miami Hurricanes. He's a good one. When you turn him on, it's like a Wayne Crabette type of guy that you're looking for. Really put together frame, and he's able to do the dirty work when required on him. He's built like a running back, could potentially be a slot dynamo in the NFL. You want a reliable wide receiver to get open, make plays, catch the football? That's Restrepo. That's exactly what you're getting out of this man. Speed is good, but he's not a burner. And I think we got to, get off the mindset that all wide receivers don't necessarily require the 4.4, 4.3 speed to be great in the NFL. And Restrepo could be one of these guys as well. I think I already mentioned Wayne Crabette. We're going to see something similar to that, example where he is very sure-handed and the field awareness is very strong. strong, man. When you see how many times he bails out his quarterback by just finding that nice pocket in between the zones, getting open, making the catch, getting the first down. This is what he does so well, and if you're looking for a wide receiver to, extend the drives, get first downs, Restrepo is definitely going to be that one for you. Hands are extremely reliable. You can't get off this. He catches almost everything to come his way, and it's very natural hand-catching movements and motions. Definitely like that about a Restrepo a lot. Shifty route runner, man. The route breaks are definitely there. It's pluses for me. He's able to get open on the slants, drag, seams, yak yardage plus. He can do a lot of things that you're looking for from the slot position, and he will be very successful given an opportunity with the right team and system that require and utilize a slot talented player, no question. I do like it, to be, I don't want to say, it's like, how everyone was gushing about a Cooper Kupp from the Senior Bowl when he came out. It's kind of get this feeling from a Restrepo, not to say that he's Cooper Kupp, but he does have a lot of the makeup to be one of these guys that a lot of people are going to sleep on, and he could be definitely one of these guys that's a huge reception pig in the NFL. Last one we got is Jaden Higgins, Iowa State. This guy is a behemoth, man. 6'3", 217. He was measuring in at 6'4.5" before the Senior Bowl, so you can tell he's extremely big. Not many games played right now. Great size and frame. And the interesting aspect, he's so put together, body-wise. He looks more like a tight end out there than he does a wide receiver. But when he does get moving, he's got that build-up speed. It's very good to see. You don't think he's as quick as he should be, and he's got a tiny little bit of burst. It's not, necessarily there for me. I'm going to still call it accelerators over burst, but he does have very good build-up speed where he can get down the field and get around some of his defensive backs. Very strong hands, huge catch radius coming from a Higgins, something that teams are going to want to do. You want that red zone threat. Back shoulder fades with this guy is basically automatic. He can outbox your defensive back with ease and still get down the field for sure. He's got a very good double move. When you see him coming off the line, in, out, and up, he can make it happen. Guys will catch up to him, especially if they're a faster DB, but he still is able to do it with good technique, and he's shown that quite a bit. Release footwork, very strong for me as well. Comes with that good double move. You can see how he has a great deal of confidence in what he can do with his footwork and get around his defensive back. I do like that about. Generates separation quite well. There are situations where you do see the defensive backs on his hip, and he's still able to jump out, leap, and stretch out and make the plays. Back shoulder fades, like I said, but he does generate separation enough to get the football in his hands, which is all you're looking for. Very versatile. You can put this guy in the slot, he's making plays. You put him outside, he's making plays. What else can you ask for from a 6'3" guy? And it's because he does have that build-up speed. You can do the, wheel routes coming from the slot, and he's still making plays. Like it a lot, man. Only 26 games played, so definitely only 2 years with Iowa State. So not a great deal of tape on the man from college football. It's only 26 games, but there is enough for you to get at least a little warm and fuzzy to say this guy could be something in the NFL. 140 receptions, 2166 in yards, 15.5 on the average, and a nice 15 touchdown receptions in his collegiate career. I am definitely growing warm and fuzzy on a Jaden Higgins. I think his game is definitely there to be coveted in the NFL. But there you have it. That is last one for Senior Bowl. If you're watching the game, definitely enjoy it. It's not necessarily, going to be a great one. They never really are. It's usually the practices where we get all, our juices flowing. But here at least there's some guys for you to keep your eye on as we get closer to the draft process and scouting a lot more of these players. Definitely get on board. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.